start with this, and if time persists, right, I'll just like taste like few more things. Okay, and in the buffer, right, I'll just like add this measuring units. Measuring units in CSS. Okay, so we'll just like keep like this for this session. The roadmap for the session is like this. Okay, cool. Okay, now what we'll be doing is now let's try it out with okay, let me just change this title. Okay, CSS continued. Well, you can see this like tab name has changed, the title has changed. Great, awesome. Okay, so let me go and okay. So whenever you're writing CSS, right, what is the first thing you have to do? If you're writing like CSS, any kind of CSS,
Selector.
Universal selector, border boxing 0, margin 0, padding 0.
why you have to do this? Why you have to do like margin 0?
Because like the browser, it takes
To remove the default properties of
default.
browser.
Exactly, to remove the default properties of all the elements. Okay, so you should make sure like what all the things you're putting here. You don't have to put like different properties. Just like put all those properties which should get applied to all those things. Okay, that's what you have to do. Now we have like something known as a box sizing as well, border box. What is the use of box sizing? What is the use of what is the use of box sizing? Yes, option. Go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just like talk. If you want to.
Sir, by using border boxing, we can remove the extra padding and border width and height.
Extra padding. I mean, like I know, like you know the answer, but you're not putting in the proper words. If you want to try again, try again.
Sir, for example, if the content is just 15 to 50, but the padding is larger, due to
Mhm.
that the size of the box increases. In order
Exactly.
to reduce the box size, we use the box sizing.
Awesome. I mean, like whenever interview asks you, right, just give like this example. He will get it. Okay. This was a clear explanation. Yeah. So what exactly box sizing does is whenever we say box sizing border box, we whatever the width we are giving, and if you are giving like padding, include that padding in that width. Okay. Don't take consider padding extra and don't increase the width or height of that particular element. Just include that as a part of that width or height. Okay, that's what exactly box sizing means. Okay, so this is what we have to do. So once I save this, see nothing is happening. Why nothing is happening here? We have like even like default margin here. We have this learning CSS, right? Why I'm getting like a default margin here? I have given like margin 0 box sizing border box. What am I missing?
We have not
Not
called the
link
CSS file
the
in the index.
Exactly, I have not linked here, right? How I can link that? How I can link
By
that?
using
using
link.
link element,
Link
link
relate.
tag.
Link rel style sheet href.
Right, so I just saved it, like now it's working. Okay, so yeah, just for a sanity check again, just let me give like background color to see. Okay, I don't give like this is like very bad practice, just to see whether the things are working or not. Now it's working. Okay, it's just like a sanity check. Okay. Awesome. I mean, like all the setup is done. We are here now. What we'll be doing is we'll be okay. Now let me just like keep the CSS one below another so that we can directly concentrate on HTML as well as CSS. Okay, cool. View appearance Z mode. Yeah, this is fine. Get rid of like a lot of space here. Fine. Now what I'll do is let's concentrate on. I'll just like not take like much time on this. What do you call inline and block. I'll just like go with. I just want to show you what the major differences. So what I'll do is I'll say div, since like a div is like a block level element. I'll say this is block level element. Okay. And now let me give like class. Yes. Okay, since we have like only one element, right? Okay, let me use span here just to demonstrate the things. Span. Okay, I'll just say this is inline level element. Okay, just save this. Now if you see here, like there's like no difference. Why there is no difference? There is a difference, but we are not able to see that. Okay, just to see that difference, let's apply background color. Okay, I just like do div. So what kind of selector is this?
Element select.
Excellent. Just like element selector, right? Because I'm not giving any class. I'm just like giving element name, right? I just like give background color. I'm not good at colors, so just don't laugh if I'm using like some random colors. Okay. Okay, so if you see here, this is like occupying the complete width, which obviously means like it's like a block level element, right? Now, what I'll do is I'll just like take span, okay, and I'll say background color. Here I'll just like use aqua. I'll save this. Now, if you see this, occupying only what do you call whatever the content I have, right? Content width based upon that, it's just like occupying only that much space. Okay, so this is we call it the inline element. Okay, now what exactly I want to show here is okay. Now let me remove this. Let me just comment this background color here. Okay, I'll just like keep background color here, but I'll just like comment background color here. Okay, I'll just save this. Okay, this is how we have. Now what I'll do is see this is the one difference which you guys know, right? The second difference which I want to show you here is if you are like, applying some padding, right? I'll just say padding. Okay, padding I'll say 10 pixels. Okay, if I just save this, what is happening here? See here, the all the padding 10 pixel got applied to the left, to the top, to the right, and to the bottom as well. Okay, so all the four sides, this padding 10 pixel got applied. Now let me try the similar thing in the span, which is like our inline level element. I'll do this. I'll say padding 10 pixels. Right. If I save this, okay, did it get applied? Yes or no?
No, it didn't.
How many of you say it didn't get got applied, and like how many of you say like it got applied? Do we have anyone who says like it got applied here?
Applied, sir.
Okay, if it's applied, where is the difference?
The color you have not applied.
Forget about color. I mean, like, yeah, I will remove color here as well. Okay, I will remove color here as well. Okay. Now let me remove padding 10 pixels here. I'll remove padding 10 pixel here as well. Okay, so this is how it's looking. Okay, now I'll just like add padding 10 pixels here. If you see here, there is like a spacing around it. Correct. This is 10 pixel. Okay, now if I add like padding 10 pixel here, just observe clearly. I'll save this. Did it got applied?
Yeah, it did, but it's
Yes, sir.
overlapping on the previous one.
No. What is happening here is now let me apply the color just to unlock this. Right? I save this, right? See here. What is happening here is if you see here, right? Here, this whenever you have like block level element, padding or margin will get applied to the all the four sides. But whenever you have this as an inline level element, only the padding or margin will get applied to the left and right side, but it doesn't change the height. You have like background color, that's the reason it's showing like it's just like overlapping, but internally it doesn't work. Okay, this is like one of the major difference which people expect you to say. Okay, because everyone can say this like width will occupy this complete width. I mean like block level element will occupy the complete width, and then level element doesn't occupy it. It's just like based upon the content, right? But this is like one of the like important thing. See here, if I apply like here 100 pixel as well, right? Padding, just see here. See here, you might see like this is going here. Okay, now just like remove the background color, right? It's like, to be honest, it just like has moved from left, it's moved like 100 pixels, from right it's like 100 pixels. There's like no change in the height. But if you see the same thing here, right, if I apply the same 100 pixel here, what is happening is the height actually changed, right? All the things got changed. Like you have like 100 pixel to the top, 100 pixel to the left, bottom and right. Okay, are you clear with this?
Yeah, only the width will change, the height and the height will be
Width,
remain
it's
the same.
not like width. Don't say width will change. The padding or margin will get applied to left and right, but top and bottom it will not get applied in case
Okay,
of
okay.
inline
Yeah,
elements. Okay,
that's good.
now you now here,
Tajamal,
yeah.
this is applicable for all inline elements or only for span?
No, this is applicable for all inline level elements,
Means,
and this will applicable for all the block level elements.
but that means only the left and right padding and margins will be taken into consideration for inline elements.
Yeah, padding and margin will only get considered in left and right when in case of inline level element, but oops, I'm sorry. I mean, like I have like some issue with the internet. Yes, is it clear now?
Okay.
Yeah,
The
Yes, sir.
margin and padding will be applied only to the left and right in case of inline level element, but in case of block level element, it will get applied to the all the four. Okay. Now here comes like one of the important thing. This is the one of the what you call beautiful property of CSS, according to me. See, whenever you need something, the hybrid of both, what you need is you want your element to behave as inline. When I say to behave as inline, it should occupy only the width based upon the content. Whatever the content I have, it should occupy that much width, right? And it should even apply, it should get like all the padding and margin should get applied to all the four sides. Okay, so it's like a best of both worlds. We have like block level element features as well. What is the block level elements feature? Like all the padding and margin getting to all the four sides. And inline level element feature, only it is occupying the space based upon the content. Okay, if we need like best of both worlds, what we have to do is we have to use something known as display inline block. Okay, so see, I'll just like show you here. What I'll do is first let me okay, let's not do like much. Okay, first what I'll do is let's play around with div. So what I'll do is with div, right, let me remove background color. Okay, let me just comment these two properties, right? Now I'll say display inline here, right? If I say display inline, you can see here this got like to the first line. Why it went to the first line? Because these both are like inline level elements, right? That's the reason. Where is this learning CSS? Okay, I didn't save this file. Let's see. Now if you see here, right, this was like, this is like an inline level element, right? Whatever the span I have here, this is like an inline level element, correct? Now whatever this I have, this is a block level element. This is like a block level element, but I'm converting it into inline level element by using display inline. Okay, now if I do padding 100 pixel here, right, see here, sorry, let me just, yeah. If I give padding 100 pixel, right, if you see here, right, the padding only getting applied to the left and right, but it's not getting applied to the top and bottom. Only this background color just shows like it's getting applied, but that doesn't happen in inline level element. Let me see, remove this. Sorry, here, this is how it's happening. At the top and bottom, it's not happening. Even though this is like a block level element, since we have converted into inline level element, and if you're applying padding, this is how it actually works, right? Now we have like this span, you can convert this into block, I mean like inline level element, sorry, block level element, you can apply it, that will work, right? Now if you want this to behave as inline, but what do you call, the height and the margin and padding should get applied to all the four sides. What you can do is you can use something known as inline hyphen block. Okay, if you use this, if I save this, right, let me remove this will cause confusion. Okay, now let me give, okay, let me give like padding as 10 pixels. Okay, save this. Now let me uncomment this, right? See here, now what is happening here? Tell me the differences. When I give like inline block, what all the things are happening here?
It had been converted to block, like it's giving the height also.
It has been converted to the block.
It is behaving
When we say block,
like both inline and block level element.
exactly, it's like behaving both as inline and block.
Combination of inline and block, yeah.
Exactly, this is like one of the best property, right? If you want to like, if you want, most of the time you will be using inline block, you'll be not using either inline or a block, you'll be using inline block. Okay, so just remember this is the one difference which you need to understand. I hope the things are clear now. Do you guys have any questions, any doubts? No questions?
No.
Awesome. Great, now let's move on to the next topic, which is position, I mean like, yeah, float, sorry. Okay, so float is like kind of tricky topic, but it's like a very easy one, so you don't have to, you know, sweat it out. Let me just remove this code here. Okay, just remove this, save. Okay, I have div here now. That, okay, let me create like, two divs. I guess create like one div with a class as a box one. Okay, now another, I'll create like another div here with a class as box 2. Okay, great. So what I'll do is now I'll let me target box 1 dot box 1, and I'll say background color as blue. Now if I save this, will this appear here as blue or not? Yes or no? If I save this, will you see like blue color?
No,
Mm, no, sir.
Why?
because
Because you
we
have to
have not
give width
width
and
and height
height.
not given.
Exactly, we have not given width and height. Let's give width and height. I'll say width as 100 pixels. Okay, if I save this now, okay, what is happening? Like it's not still not working. Oh, I have not given height right. I'm like height as 100 pixels. Yeah. So if you see here, this is working. Okay, I'm getting height. I have given like height and width, and it's like 100 pixels. So that's the one thing which you have to remember. If the div is empty, so that will not appear. Correct. If the div is empty, that will be present in the DOM tree. DOM tree, don't worry about that. I'll just like come to that later, like later section of the course. But that will be not visible. Why it will be not visible? Because the div is empty. Okay. So if the div should be visible, there should be like some content, or it should have like a proper width and height. Even if it's not having height, right? Even if it's not having width, there should be height, because if you don't have width, it will obviously take like complete width, right? It's like a block level element. If you want to constrain this, right, you're using width. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let me just copy paste this again. Okay, so one more thing is, see, whenever I'll be teaching here, right, I'll be showing few more things as well. For example, I have written here, right, I might show you like how to reuse the CSS. That will be like a part of this kind of sessions. Okay, you have to understand those things as well. So if I tell you a few things which are kind of new to you, just like grasp that. Or if you have any questions, you can ask there. Okay, I have changed the color. If I see here, you can have like a blue one. Let me just change this. Let me go complete different contrast. Yep. This is also kind of like make it light. Yeah, that is fine. Okay. So we have like two colors here. Like one is blue, second one is green. Great. So what I'll do is, let me just, okay, this is fine. Okay, we'll just come back to later. See, now like this question is for everyone. Now you tell me, like, why, since we even have like space at the right, we have like space after the blue box, we have space right at the right, we have like a lot of space here, but why is coming to the next line?
Block level element.
Block level.
Block
Yes, sir.
level.
Block level element. This is like one thing which you need to be sure of. Why I'm saying this? Because people think if you are constraining the height and width, right? If I'm taking it with as only 100 pixels, whatever the element we have below, right, that should come to the I'm like to the space which is like kind of free, right? That doesn't happen in a block level element. Even though you are constraining the height and width, internally it occupies the complete width. Okay, you have to remember that. Now here, like whatever the float concept you have, right, the float concept is like a very old concept. When this like CSS got released, after like few iterations, float was introduced. Still there are like a lot of websites which uses float, and like understanding floats is like a key to understand like more of the advanced concepts such as flex and grid, which will make your life easier. You don't have to you don't have to keep on aligning the elements left, right, and all those things. Okay, just like if you do like display flex, everything will get aligned in a row. You can just like play around that's like again in the later part. But how this float works is, see, the actual use case of float is, if you have like multiple elements and you want those elements to stick to that particular side of your web page, then you can use float. So when I say particular side, in the sense either it can be left or it can be right. So I have here like what do you call it? Like a blue box, right? If I want this blue box to get aligned to the right, there are few things. What are those few things? Forget about float. Now since Salman has taught you float, you will tell like use float. Now forget about float. Tell me like different approaches how I can move this blue box to the top right. How I can do it here?
Position relative.
No, that is like we didn't go to position relative, right? Till now, whatever you have learned, tell me with that.
Okay.
Now we'll be learning that position relative. We'll be learning in like few minutes. Just as long as just like brainstorm how we can do that.
Align
Inline
item.
display.
Inline. If I do inline, what will happen? I want to see, my question is simple. I don't care where this green box sits. Okay. Only what I care is if I want to move this blue box to the right here I want to move. Correct. How I can do that?
Margin to right.
Exactly.
Margin.
Margin right I have to give, right?
Yeah.
Yes, margin right.
Yes, sir.
Margin right. Seriously. If I give like
Margin left we have to give. Left,
margin
left.
left, I have to give, right? Why you are saying margin right? if I give margin left, when I say okay, let's try it out. Okay, how much I should give margin left? How much I should give? Tell me some numbers.
60%, 70%.
60%, 70%. Okay, I'll say 60%. Right. Say this. If I give 60%, but still it's it's not going and setting to the right. Correct. How we can achieve that?
Float.
You guys didn't get my question. My question was, forget about float, forget about like Salman taught you float. Think like different approaches how we can achieve that, because in CSS, right, especially in programming, you can arrive to like one solution in like different ways. You can have like n number of ways. Okay, you can arrive at the same solution in different ways. Now think about like different ways, like okay, yes, and like Muzamil sir said, like, and Vignesh said we have to give float left, margin left. I have given like margin left here, but it's like still not to the complete right. It's like not predictable. Even if you do the trial and error method saying like margin left should be 70%, 80%, unless and until it's just going and setting. If you have like different screen sizes, the resolution changes there, and 100 pixels will be kind of different there, because this is percentage, this will not change. But here, like that might cause like few issues, like in the big screens that might not this might be looking properly in my screen, but it might not look proper in your screen. Okay, you will learn that. Okay, because in that batch we are seeing the same thing. You have to make sure and all those things. Now coming to achieve like this kind of like if you need this kind of solutions, right? Now coming, we have like float here, so which already Salman has taught. What we have to do is we have like two things here. When you say like float right and float left, you can give. Now instead of giving margin left here, what I'll do is I'll just say float to right. Okay, I say float right, it went and sat to the right. Now the problem with float is whenever you're like floating an element, right? Whenever you're floating like a certain element, for example, I'm floating this box one, right? Now whatever the element you have below it, right? What is the element I have below it? I have like this box two, correct? I have like a div whose class is box two. Now that element will go behind that particular div. Behind that particular div in the sense I have this class, right? I mean, like I have this div, right? It's going behind this div. This box two is going behind this. This is the default behavior of what you call float. Now, why that happens? That will happen because they have configured, they have written the float in that manner. Okay. So how you can avoid this, right? If you want to see, here I have given like width and height as like 100 pixels, so you're not able to see it. For example, if I just like say, I'll not give like width here, let it occupy 100% width. Okay. See here. Right? I have given like 100 pixel, and I'm just like doing a float right. So where did the element go?
Behind that.
No, I have given like this box one, right? I'm just like doing like float right to here. Okay, let me just remove that. If I do this, I'm getting this right. I just like do float right here. If I do like float right here, it just like kind of disappeared. Why it disappeared? We don't have like a width here, right? That's the reason. That's the problem. Whenever you're using float, you should have like a proper width defined as well. Okay. So if I do this, like this is happening. Now what I'll do is I'll just like make it something like around 700. Now if you see this, if I make this 700, right, you can see it clearly. If I just like remove this float, right, we have like this 700 pixel. This is fine, and I have this below here. Okay. So we have like this box one. Box one is like this blue box, and I have this box too. Now things are working properly according to our knowledge. What is like a block level element? The element which will occupy the complete width, and it will go to the next lane. Okay, this is proper. Now whenever at the moment when I do like float right, whatever the element I have here, even you give like float left or float left, that doesn't matter. Whatever the element you have below it, that will go underneath it. Okay, so this is what happened. Now if you want like let's assume you want to float your element, as well as you want to what do you call, disable the side effects of float. Okay, so unless and until you're not clearing the float, that will keep on happening. So how we can achieve that? Okay, wait, let me just go here like 100 pixel here. Okay, so now I've given like float right here. This is like floating to the right, and this has came behind to this first div, right? If you want this if you want to avoid this, like whatever is going like to the top right, to the behind of that div one, then what you can do is you can clear that float. Okay, so here you have to say clear both. So when we say clear both, what we are saying is if the float is aligned to the left, if the float is aligned to the right, clear those both. Okay, if I just save this, see, this is how we'll achieve this. This is like what like float means. If you want to float the element to the left, if you want to float the element to the right, when we say float left and right, like what exactly we mean is we want to attach that, we want to snap that element either to the left or either to the right. You can do it, right? This is what it means. Now there will be scenarios where you have like something like this. Okay, Salman has already gave that assignment, but I'll just show you that. Okay, I'll just, so this is how happen. Yeah, now let's assume we have this as a 50% here. Box one width is 50%, right? We have 50%. Then let me remove this float, right? As well, correct. Now let me just wait. Let me make this as also 50%. Yes, if you see like 50%, right? Even though the width is same, if I want to set this, make this set to the like one after another, like one next to each other, we have like multiple approaches here, right? The first thing is either we can go with like a float, that is also fine, or you can even like go with like an inline block as well, because we you saw like clear difference. If you're using like inline block, right, you can give like padding much, that is also fine, right? Now since we are like talking about float here, let's talk about this. Now let's assume this is the one, this is the two. Okay, now see here, I have written like a one, this is the one, this is the two. Now whatever we have one, right, this should I mean like whatever the two I have here, this should sit at the right. Okay, whatever I have like one here, this should sit at the left. How we can achieve that? Using float.
Position.
Why you guys are coming to position? I'm talking about float, right? Using float, how you can achieve that? I want to make this set here and I want to move this to the right.
Just give
Float right.
float right
Float right.
to block 2.
Float right.
Float right to this, right? To, okay, let me try that. Float right, right. Here I have like float. Okay, now if I save this, this is coming like this. Okay, so why it's coming like this?
You can give padding.
Why I need to give padding?
Any condition statements?
Why we need to use conditional statements? See, and what I'm saying is I want this to go to the right and I want this to go to the left, right? It's like very simple. I have given like float right here. Let's try here like float left. What will happen? Done, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understood.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's like very simple. Just to achieve this, like you're saying, like position, I want to put conditions. We even didn't go into programming at all. Right? You're saying like a lot of things which are unnecessary. Fine. Now the things is like let's assume I have like another div here. Here, see, this is the basic use case of float. So whenever you're like floating few elements, you're like floating to the left and right. There might be some elements here. For example, you have like paragraph here. Okay, in the paragraph I have written some dummy text. Okay, if I save this, see, it's getting appeared here. Only that will go back. Only the element will go back unless until it's like a, okay. Just manage it. Yeah. See, if you have like this text, right, this will not get this will not get behind it. Okay, if you have like div here, for example, I have like some empty div here, right? I just like give, let's give like class as box 3. Okay, so let me just copy paste this as box 3. Okay, and I'll change this color to some different color. If I save this, I see this, where is this box 3? This is also coming here. Now in this case, right, if you're going like float right and float left, the problem is you will be not getting any problem because I have, wait a second, let me just remove this. Yeah, see here, if you're doing like float right and float left, this side effects, whatever the effects you have here of float, that will be getting cascading to the below div as well. If you want to clear that, if you want to, if that should not happen to you, and like whatever the div you have here, that should appear here, then in this case, right here in the box 3, this div, for this div you have to make clear both. If you do clear both, things will appear properly. So this is the this is how you have to apply. If you're applying float below whatever the elements you have below, that will also go behind. If you want to avoid that happening, then what you have to do is you have to use clear both. That's it. Are we clear with the float?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. Awesome. Great. And now the next thing is let's go. Okay. No, did I cover anything new? No, I didn't cover anything new, right? Or else I would have given you like 5 to 10 minutes to practice. That's fine. Yeah, there are like few things which you need to understand here. Okay. Now let me just remove this here. This is like exactly not about the concept, but about like reusability of the code. If you see here, right? Let me remove this box 3. Just like keep very simple. I'll just like remove floats as well here. Remove float. Yep, we have this, right? It's fine. Let me remove box 3 as well. I don't need this. Okay. So this is what we have. Now we have like these two classes, right? We have class as box 1 and box 2. Okay, let me remove this as well. So we have like this classes box 1 and we have the classes box 2. Now I have these two classes. Now if you see these two classes, do we have any common properties among these two? Do we have any common properties among these two?
Height, width, and height.
Height and width.
Width and height is like are the common properties, right? And only the different property is like a background color. So what we can do is, see, whenever you're writing CSS, right? If you're like building one website, as you keep on writing like a lot of CSS, the CSS files get huge, right? So you have to make sure you have to find a way to reuse the CSS. Okay, you have to find a way to reuse the CSS. You have to write like a reusable classes. Okay, so how you can make reusable classes is, first you need to see if there are like any common properties among like multiple classes. For example, I have like two classes here and I have like common properties. I have like common properties are like width and height, right? So what I'll do is I'll abstract these two common properties into one class. Let me create like another class known as box. Okay, I'll create like dot box here. Now, what are those two common properties? Those are width and height, right? I'll just like cut this, okay, and I'll put it here. Okay, since I'm like extracting the common properties from these two classes, I'll just like remove it from here as well. Okay. Okay, great, awesome. Now, if you see here, like it disappeared because I don't have like height and width like box and box two. Now here in like HTML, right, we have this ability where you can apply multiple classes. How I can apply multiple classes? What you have to do is you have to just like write like that class name, what you want to apply, then separate it with like a space. So what I'm saying here is you have, there is like one box class, apply all those properties from box class. With additional to that, whatever I have written here, like one more class here, box 1, apply those properties as well. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm like just combining these two properties and I'm applying to this div. Okay, now the one advantage of this is like we have reduced like number of lines of code. I mean, like I have reduced like 2 to 3 lines here, right? I've just like composed like a new class and I'm applying that class to this div, right? If I do here like box, right? It's like a, here it's working, right? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions in this?
No, sir.
No? Okay, awesome. So whenever you are doing like whenever you want to reuse these classes, right, make sure the class names which you are giving, right, the class name which I have given here is box. This is fine. But if you see this box one, this doesn't make sense. When you say box, obviously it means like we need to have some sort of width and height. I have like box 1 and box 2. This doesn't make sense. Obviously for user it doesn't matter, but as a developer, right, you should be able to give like proper semantic names, right? So this is like a box 1. Instead of doing this, right, I can just say like this, right? I can say blue. I'll just say blue. It means like blue color, and I'll say green here, right? So this is fine. And instead of like box 1 here, I'll just say blue, and here I'll say green. Okay.
Spelling of green here.
Spelling of green, sir, in
Oops. Yeah.
CSS.
Sorry for that. Thanks for reminding. I'm seeing like why it's not. Yeah, this is how the things will work. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Any questions, or you guys are not getting, or you guys are getting? What is the status? I mean, like this is for everyone, or it's like just going, it's bouncing.
No, sir. No, sir. You can continue.
Okay. Great. Now coming to the next topic, right, which is like kind of brand new topic we will be starting, is something known as position. Okay. So let's
And
talk
the
about.
clear thing which you have told.
Yeah, I said right clear. What was the question again?
Float and clear, right? The
Mhm.
clear part I didn't get.
Clear part, I explained it, right? Now you are saying that you should have said that earlier, right? Okay. Anyways, I'll just like show here. So what I was saying is in the float, if I say float left here, and if I say float right here, here we have like this float left and float right, and like we have like 50% right? So let's assume I have like another div here, right? I'll just like give like class as again box. Okay, I'll give, okay, I'll just like give box here. Then let me give like another brown. Okay, let me write like another class here as brown. That brown, and I'll give like background color as brown. Okay. So where did this? I have applied this class, right, brown, and I have this box as well here. Where did it go? Oh, where did this go?
It's not
This is the
appearing.
person who asked the question.
Yeah, it's not appearing there.
Why it's not appearing?
It's a background. I mean, in the back.
Yeah, it's like went beneath that. Like we have like whatever we have like the first, right? So if you want to avoid that to happen, you just have to clear it. Clear both. If you do clear both, it will come. That's it.
Okay, yeah, I got. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Now, any other questions?
Tajamul, can you just touch upon the relative and absolute measuring this one? I have a little doubt in that. When to
Relative
use
and
absolute?
positioning, right?
Yeah, position.
I will be starting the same thing now.
No, because yesterday's assignment I was confused when to use pixels, when to use that percentage, when to use VH
No,
and
one second,
VW.
one second. Like you're talking about measuring units, or you're talking
Yeah,
about like positioning?
measuring
Yeah, I'll
units.
be covering those both today. No worries.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's start with like positioning. So first, the positioning, right? Let me just remove this float part. This. Great. I'll just like clean one box here just to, as of now. Let's start with like one thing here. Great. I have like this one box now. Let me give it as 100 pixels. Okay. So we have something known as positioning. Okay, I have like one box in me, right? I don't want to confuse all of you. I'll just put everything here itself in one class. Okay, let's put it here. Let me remove this blue, and let me remove this. Good. Yep. So we have this, like we have like only one class here, and I have like one element here, right? A big class. Then I have that like one element here. So we have like something known as positioning. In the positioning, yeah. Before going to positioning, right? Let me ask you this question. So I asked like one question. The first question was, if I want to move this to the right. Some of you were saying like positioning. Some of you were saying like float and all this thing. That's fine. Now tell me this: if I want to move the same element to this bottom right here, bottom right. If you see my bottom right, like I'm just like, you can see the cursor, right? If I want to move it here, how I can achieve that? If
Float
I want
right
to
to
move
bottom.
float right.
Bottom.
Float, there is no nothing known as like float right bottom, right? We have like only just like float right or float left. That's it.
Margin right bottom.
Margin right and bottom. tell me if you're like telling margin right and bottom, tell me like how much I need to give. Think through it. I mean, like,
Total number
oh,
of total width minus number of pixels in this width. What we have declared.
okay, but like, yeah, so tell me this thing. I mean, like, tell me how I need to move that. That's it. I am like not good at math. I'm like, yeah. If just like tell me like what I have to do, I'll write it here. Brainstorm. I mean, like this is for everyone. Like this is not like only for few people. Everyone can answer this. So I was having conversation with Salman, right? Salman was saying, "Hey, those guys are like very smart. They'll ask you like a lot of questions." But now I can see like that you people are not even asking like any questions at all. I don't know whether you guys are not getting it or like my explanation is not clear. I'm not really getting. What's the problem? Yeah, tell me.
The question you have asked is difficult one, so everyone is silent. So
What's difficult in this? I mean, like, see, you have been doing like, a lot of assignments and all those things, right? Well, my question is very simple. You have to move this here.
diagonally,
Yeah, move it like whatever you want. Move it however you want. Just like move it this. I want this to appear here. That's it. If you want to move it diagonally, if you want to fly it around, if you want to make it like left and right and left, right and bottom, left and right, that's fine. I mean, like bottom and right. Do whatever you want. Just tell me.
Linear gradient.
Wow, who was that
Can
man?
we
Yeah,
use
can we?
position relatives then top to minus top 250?
Linear gradient to right bottom or
Linear gradient bottom. Why need to write like linear gradient bottom? And if you want to use like position, why I need to use position? Yeah, that's fine. I'm like, okay, I'll be using position, but if I use position, what is the use of that?
Where we can, if you want the position, where position should be, it will go, no, sir. Position relative top 250 pixel like that.
Okay, let me try it out. You're saying like position relative, and I need to give top as to 50 pixels, right? Position relative and top as 250 pixels. Okay, let me say this. What is happening? Yeah, this is how it's happening. If I do that.
Actually, this has not been done yet, Tajamal. Position and that.
No, I know like position is not done. I'll be covering the same thing, but like people are like telling, right? That's the reason I'm just showing here. uh, okay. Anyways, that's fine. That's completely fine if you're not answering it. But like in the last budget, I got like very weird answers as well. People were saying give margin top, give padding top, give like then margin left. That is achievable, right? If I give like margin top, something like this. Like I'll just like tell you what people were saying earlier. They were saying like give like margin top at something like 80%. Right, this is coming. Then give margin left as like 80%. This was like very close, right? Yeah, I was expecting at least this kind of answer. That's fine. I mean, like, yeah. Okay. And now let's talk about positioning. Right. Few of you like have already read the notes, but let's just like go like step by step and tell you like how the things works here. See, like whenever we are like learning about CSS, right? We have this capability in CSS where you can virtually draw anything on the canvas, right? So if you're seeing this HTML page, just like your complete canvas, like this big canvas, you can draw anything here, right? If you're like just like getting pro in CSS, you can draw. People are very crazy. Just like go and see and like go to YouTube and see CSS art. Just like put CSS space art, ART. Okay, people are drawing like crazy things using CSS. Okay, if anything you can do, anything, whatever you imagine, right? Whatever you imagine to do in like pen and paper to draw all those things can be done in CSS. We even like have like one website known as what is that, single div or something, like div single something there, where they use only one div and they draw like complete things such as stars, moons, what you call animals and all those things. So anything can be like possible using CSS if you want to do it. Okay, but you just need to have like a lot of knowledge in that. And since if you keep on practicing, you will achieve there as well. It's not a big deal. Now when you talk about position, right, when we say position in position we have like few things. One is position absolute, one second is position relative, third one is position sticky, we have like a lot of things in the positioning. Okay, so what exactly this position is? When we say position, position is a property in CSS which will unlock 4 other properties. Okay, so when you want to try positions, say let's assume you want to say position absolute. I'll talk about like what is position absolute, but I'm just like telling you one thing, simple thing. If you are trying any positions, let's assume position absolute or position relative, whatever you're trying, if you are writing that, that will unlock 4 other properties. Those 4 other properties will be top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, so these are the 4 properties which you unlock. Now here like we have like minor differences between all these things. So when you say position absolute, right, if you are like giving position absolute to certain element, what exactly that means is whatever the coordinates you are mentioning in case of like with respect to top, bottom, left, and right, that particular element will get placed in that particular coordinates. I'll not call it as a coordinates, I'll just like call it as a what you call positioning, that will get placed in that particular positioning. Now let's see one by one how the things work here. Okay, first what I'll do is I'll say position absolute here. Okay, so when I say position absolute, nothing happened here, right? I'll just like save this, and even if you don't believe me, let me reload the page as well. Nothing changed. Okay, but just like writing position will not change anything, right? This, whenever you write position something here, we have like few positions, like you can see here: static, relative, absolute, sticky, fixed. Okay, these 3 are like kind of mostly used: relative, absolute, sticky. Okay, so I have like used only absolute and sticky. I'll be not even using relative. This is like kind of rare case, but we'll explain here. Okay, so when we say position absolute, right, this will unlock 4 more properties. Those 4 properties are top, okay, bottom, bottom, oops, left, and right. Okay, you have like 4 properties, and it's not like you have to all use this all 4 properties. It's like basically using these 4 properties, you can place that particular element anywhere. Okay, if you want to place that element anywhere in the screen, you can do that using these 4 properties. Okay, so how to do that? Now if you say like see, we have like a very what you call like few things you need to understand here. Whenever you say like top 0, right, when you say top 0, right, what exactly you mean? Like it should get attached to the top. Okay, when you say 0, it means like that. Okay, if I say bottom 0, what I'm saying, it should get attached to the bottom. Okay, so that's what it actually means. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll just like remove all these things. I'll just say here right 0. Let's see what will happen. I'll say right 0 here, and if I save this, right, what happened here? What happened?
The box moved
It's
right.
gone to the right.
It's gone to
It
the right,
attached to
right?
the right.
Correct. So if you were knowing like position absolute, you could have said me that whatever the question I asked with the float, right, you can even achieve that kind of thing like this if you want to do similar kind of thing. Now just do a bit of brainstorming. I even like showed you what all the properties which can be unlocked. Now tell me this: if I want to place the element here, now you have like all the tools required, right? How I can do that?
Bottom 0.
Bottom 0.
Bottom 0. Do I need this right 0? No.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
need it. Right 0, bottom 0.
Right 0, bottom 0. Yeah, this is here, like this is. Now what do you think? Like this is tough.
No, sir.
Okay, so you can like achieve like anything if you want, like left what do you call it? Here in the left, right, you can just like
First, the
say
position attribute should be there. After that, we should give the right and bottom. Right, sir?
exactly, yes. If whenever you are using position, then only these things will work. Okay, now let me try this left 0. Okay, cool. Now there is like one more interesting property here, right? So see, now you guys think, okay, just like use your common sense. I mean, like that's fine, this might act like a weed here. I have given bottom 0, I have given like left 0. Obviously it's here and it explains well whatever I have explained so far. That is like getting you know it's complementing to each other, whatever we are seeing here, right? Now I have given like left 0, bottom 0. Now what happens if I give right 0 here? Just think through it. Just
It goes to the
guess.
right because it overlapped the previous code.
Okay, that's like, yeah, I mean, like that's understandable explanation because in CSS usually the things get overlapped, but here we don't have like same property, right? Overlap will happen. Overlap will happen when you are using same property, right? But here we have like different properties, correct?
I think it expands.
You think it's expands? Why it expands? I think you like right zero.
It may or may not go based on the hierarchy of this one, right position.
Okay, yeah, let me try this out. Let me save this. What is happening? Nothing is happening.
It's not changing.
Why it's not changing?
Because we give left 0 and bottom 0, so it is fixed to that position.
But I
We
have given
can't
like right zero as well, right?
The absolute so maybe.
Okay, it's like position absolute. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so you know how this like a position absolute works. Now I have like one more use case. Okay, now let me remove this. Okay, now just like remove this bottom zero as well. Let me keep like left zero, right zero. Okay, this one. Let me just remove this as well, right zero. Now I have like one more use case. Let me just write here. Wait a second. Where is it? Yep. Let me create like another div here. I'll give like a class as a parent for this. Okay. Now let me. Okay. Before doing anything here, right? Let me just. Oops. Okay. I'm like. There are like a lot of classes here. Let me remove this. Okay. Let me just give like one class that is dot parent, and I'll give width as 500 pixels. Okay. I'll give like height as 500 pixels. Right. Then I'll give background color as brown. Yeah, this looks hide. I don't need like hide 500 pixels. Let me give as 250 pixels. Yep, it's fine. Okay, now okay, so I have done this, and now this is like you can see here, like I'm not given like anything fancy here. It's just like width 500 pixels, height 500, height is 250 pixels. Okay, so yeah. Let me ask you like another question. Okay, this is like not related to position. So you can see I have given like a fixed width and height for this, right? If I want to make this div center, right, how I can do that? If I want to move this, I mean like if I want to make this div center horizontally, how we can do that? In area.
Alignment.
You should attach to the blue box.
No. I mean, my question is very simple. See here, this box we have here, right? This should be in like center. I have like left, like I have like empty space here, right? This should equally get divided to the left and right, and this box should be in center. Forget about this blue box. We'll think about it later. Just tell me this.
Use align attribute.
Align. Align will work here. Okay, let me try it. So what exactly you want me to do? Align. So what align? Text align. Align items. What exactly is this? Come on, tell the answer, mate. I mean, like
Margin?
Margin
Can we
center
give the
with
margin?
sorry,
Margin, sir.
margin. What I have? How much I
Margin?
have to give? Margin. Okay. How much I have to give?
So horizontally and vertically in center.
Dude, what exactly I have to write? Tell me that. If I ask, no, no.
Margin left.
So margin left how much?
90%.
90%.
Just
Okay, it's gone.
fine,
It's
sir.
like Hazan.
But
Okay,
10% or 20% is enough, sir.
10% or 20%. Okay, I have given like 10%, but it's still not equally distributed, right? So if you have
5.
like this, okay, now that is like trial and error method. I'm like, yeah, keep on trying like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I just like tell you like simple trick. This will work on divs. Okay, whenever you have like text, if you want to make it center, you can use like text align, text hyphen align center. Okay, but if you want to move that complete div in center, where you have like left and right, you have like some undistributed space, or like if you on the left, if you have like undistributed space, or on the right, if you have like some empty space, right? If you want to utilize that space and give like proper, I mean like equal spaces to the left and right, what you can do is you can use one simple hack known as margin zero auto. Okay, so when we say zero auto, so when I give like margin something like this, what exactly this means? This zero, what it represents? This is like left or right or top or bottom? When we say margin zero, I have given zero, right? Whether this represents like margin top or margin bottom or margin left or right, what does it represent?
Top and bottom.
This will represent top and bottom, right? If you are giving the two properties, the first property always represents, I mean like the first value of that particular property will always represents top and bottom, and the second property represents left and right. Okay, so what exactly this means is when I say margin zero space auto, it actually means this margin, there should be like zero margin to the top and bottom. Okay, this is the fair enough. You don't have like any margin. You can see like in bottom and top, you don't have any margin. And auto in the sense, if we have like any space in the left or right, take that space and distribute equally among left and right. That's what it actually means. Now if I save this, see now it's like in center. Okay, you don't have to keep on doing the trial and error method saying like margin left 1%, 2%, 3%. No, you don't have to do that. Even if I like increase the size, screen size, right, that will stay in center. See here, right? It will not move. If you're giving like in percentages, that might again cause like some issues. Move here, like it will be in center. Got it? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, now coming back to our position topic. So I was asking, my question was, we have this div class as parent, and I have like this div classes box. Now, what exactly I want is I want this blue box within like with here. How I can achieve that? I want this blue box inside of this, and it should be like at the bottom right of this box. What I have to do here? Changes.
Relative positioning. You can.
If I use like position relative, this will come inside automatically. See the HTML, then see the CSS, then tell me the answer. Just don't just like a dodge a bullet in like what do you call uh, in darkness. Don't do that. See, that's what I said. I was saying, no, I'm staying in Chatpat. Now, if someone asks me how to go Bangalore, I can't just like say go straight, take left, then take right, then go straight. I can't do that, right? That's saying like there's like no context of saying that. You should, whenever you are asking, whenever like someone asks your question, think through it and give like proper answer. Right, at least even the answer is wrong, that's fine. You should not like we call this in Hindi, right, andheri mein tir chhodna. I mean like don't do that. That's you, everyone is like professionals here. Even the answer is wrong, you should have a proper justification for why you have thought that.
We should call that blocks insert that class, no sir. Parent.
Excellent. First, that's what answer I was expecting. See, this is like completely different divs, right? The first thing what we have to do is I need to move this within this, correct? First I need to do that because like it's outside. How I'll expect that? First let's move this, then we'll see what is the problem again. Okay, I moved this, now I saved it. Now okay, now something has changed. Now it came here, but how I can move this here?
Again, position relative to.
Position relative to what? We have this like we didn't even like go to position relative, right? We have like absolute here. Can I use a position absolute to make it like here?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
How to do that?
Position relatives.
Rest of the people are what are you doing? I mean, like, just like silent.
It may be position absolute and bottom 0.
Okay, bottom 0. Then what?
Uh,
Right 0.
right 0.
Okay, this is the answer I was expecting. I'll just like say bottom 0 and right 0. Save this. Okay. Now, if I save this, my intuition, also my gut feeling when I was like learning CSS, right? It should come and sit here. Okay, that's what like even this is like inside this div and the things are proper. Okay, now let's save this. Wow, what happened? Just see, we even like have this div, but like it's just going and outside of this div. But we have given like bottom 0 and right 0.
It's taking the whole page and to go. It's not
And
taking the
but I have
box.
given like its parent as 500 and 250, right? Or it's taking like whole page. Whatever you said, like that's like completely understandable and it's a correct answer. But why it's not taking its parent? Obviously, we have learned like if you want to put some elements within order, we'll be using like similar to this, right? Why is this happening?
We should link the box and parent.
Now, where do I need to link it? Do I need to add like a link file here in HTML? Link tag. Do I need to add that again here? What do I need to add? Tell me. I'll add link.
We should first make this brown box as a static page, which it should use as a page, this one. And later on, we can do this blue box.
First, what I need to make static page. This is like static page itself, right? Where are we
No,
loading
no, no.
the
This
data
one,
element?
it's taking the whole page, right? This box element, we have to make it as a page. I don't know how to do that.
I'm giving like proper height as well, right? See here, if I was not giving this, now whatever you said that might make sense, but I'm giving like height as well. Now that will not move, right? These are like some of the static properties which I've given.
You should write that box in that parent, so dot parent in which we should write things.
Sir, can we
Yeah.
use 0 again?
Sorry.
Can we use top 0?
Okay.
That,
Tell it. Top 0,
no, like bottom 0,
bottom
right 0,
0.
and top 0.
Okay. Bottom 0, then right 0, and top 0.
Yes, sir.
What does it actually mean?
Like it's
What does this mean, man? I didn't understand. Like, what is the use of this?
So you should call that parent class, the boss class in the parent class. Sir.
no. I was like trying to put that box inside that one. So the other
This,
box.
this is getting interesting, right? I mean, like, okay, let's move on. I'll tell the answer. See, there is like one caveat where you have to understand whenever you are using position absolute, right? Let me just remove. I'll keep it top. Okay, I'm like, let me remove this bottom. Wait a second. Let me keep this exercise. Clear what I had. Let it go to the bottom. Yep, bottom right. Yep. I'll fine. Yeah. So you have to understand like one thing. What is that one thing you have to understand is whenever you're using position absolute will work based upon its parent, which is relative. Okay. Now we have not we don't even know what is relative and but how it's coming, how it's working here. Position. Now that's the first question. If the parent is not relative, position absolute will not work, but it's absolute is working here, but we have not given like we have not used anything the term known as position relative. Then how come it's working? So here is the answer is by default the HTML document, the body, whatever you're seeing, right, that will be relative. Okay, so whenever it will like if this will get calculated, right, whenever you say bottom 0 right 0, when this will get calculated based upon its relative parent. Now it doesn't care about whatever the parent you have unless and until it's relative. Now I have not given anything relative, I have not mentioned any word relative here, right? So by default it will consider its parent as body. okay, relative parent as body, and based upon that, like body in the sense this complete page, right, this complete page, based upon that it is acting. Now if I want this to behave within this parent's limit, then what I have to do is I have to make this position as relative. Okay, so if I make this position as relative, now if I save this, so what is happening now?
It's working.
It's working. No, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, the basic idea why I especially brainstorm these kind of things is, later onwards, when the things are not working, at least you will remember this kind of, okay, if that should work, we have to do something like this. That's the reason I do this. Okay, now this is like its relative parent is obviously this, because we have given property as the position relative here, correct? So most of the time when this position relative will work whenever you want to use the position absolute. Okay, you will making whatever the element you're using position absolute, its parent should be relative, and you have to do that. That's the main thing. Now the next thing is, we have like this position absolute, and I have this bottom 0, right 0. Now it's the element is coming and sitting here, right, bottom right. Now if I want this element to come and sit to the left, it's the same thing. It's now here doesn't here nothing changes. If I just like remove this, right, it's sitting here, right. Now if I say uh, right 0, here it comes and sit here. Okay. Any questions so far?
Absolute means it fix in one place. Relative means it will relate.
Sorry.
Absolute. What's the meaning of absolute? Which I'm just confused.
Absolute in the sense, absolute position. It's like kind of fixed position where exactly you want to put that element.
Okay.
And the context will be the parent, it should be relative. Okay, now if you're saying like position right 0 here, and if this is not relative, obviously this will be going here, and its relative parent will be the body by default, right?
If we want the
Exact
blue
position.
box in center, then what should we do?
You tell me how I can achieve that.
Margin auto.
Margin auto, yeah, that's like a very excellent one. So what I have to do is I'll just like remove this. I don't need like position at all, right? So I'll just like say, let me save this. Okay, now I'll just say margin what?
Auto and auto again.
Not
Auto. If I give like auto, it's like it should take like all the four sides, right? But it's taking only, coming only to the left and right, right? It's not taking this complete thing.
Zero, margin zero.
No, 0 in the sense like top and bottom should be 0, right? So like auto will only work whenever you have like empty spaces like left and right. You have to give like proper what you call, you have to use either transform, we didn't cover yet, or you have to give like margin manually. Now the easiest thing for this also is we can use like flex, and we have to use just like only one property. Justify content center, everything will come into center, but like that's we'll just check that later. But still, I mean, like this is like one of the good thing which you can do. Try this out in like
So,
after the
so
class.
Salman here, commenting the position absolute will not affect this. If I give margin auto,
Yeah, no, this whenever we comment it, obviously it's like browser will not read this. It's like just like this.
okay, by doing so, what my doubt is, we
Mhm.
are centering this blue box with respect to the page, but not with respect to the this one parent red box, right? If I
No,
remove that this one,
no. It's
yeah,
respect to the parent box.
yeah, and if you comment the what do you say? Uh, the absolute that
Hmm.
then if I give
Hmm.
margin 0 and auto, then
Hmm.
it is center with respect to the body, right?
It's respect to the brown box.
Hmm.
So usually how the things works is whenever if the element this will be always like based upon the parent. Okay, whenever we are like using position absolute, then the case will be, it will be based upon its relative parent. Now then it will be not based upon its parent, it will be based upon the relative parent. That's the reason we have made it here relative. By default everything will act based upon its parent. So its parent is like this brown box. Okay, any questions? Okay, awesome, great. So yeah, let's
So
move on. I'll
Jimmy,
just
can
like
you just
cover
repeat this once again? I'm a little bit confused in this.
which one, which one.
This one, this relative and absolute thing.
What is the confusion? Which part?
The parent, how to that the parent and this one. Actually, my
Yeah.
network was gone in between. So again, that was the thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No worries. So what I was saying was, if we just like remove everything like this, by default it will be like this. By default it will be like this, and every element in HTML will be based like there will be like relationship, child and parent relationship. Now, but whenever you make some element positions absolute, that will bring out of the context. Okay, it will behave based upon its relative parent. Now, if I save this and I'll just like make this top 0 and left 0, 0 and left 0. Yeah, if you see here, what is happening is it's going and sitting to the top and left to the page. Now, why this is happening? Because whenever we make position absolute, it will not consider it parent, but it will consider its relative parent. The relative parent in the sense we have like this body. By default, the body's position will be relative. Based upon that, this will act. Now, if I want, my question earlier was if I want to make this blue box to sit at like bottom right here in this box, how I can do that? Most of you said I need to do bottom 0, obviously, which will push this to here bottom 0. Then if I want to push to the right, I need to do like right 0. Right, I have to do like right 0. If I save this, it's coming bottom 0 right 0, but this is not coming here. Right, why it's not coming here? Obviously, whenever I do position absolute, it will be referring to its relative parent. Now, if this parent, like this box class, whatever the element I have, its parent is not relative because I have not defined anywhere here as relative. Now, if this should work as position relative, right? So if I just do position relative here, if I save this, now the things should work. This is what I was saying. That's it.
So how to take that box in center? I didn't know that.
That's what I said. I said when you give like margin 0 auto, it's like coming horizontally center. For vertically center, you people try it out. That as assignment. We have like 2 to 3 ways which we can do it. Like we have like something as vertical align, but vertical align will work only for the inline level limits. I'll figure it out. Like we have like few things. These are the small assignments which will help you to learn few more things. Okay, because if I just like keep on explaining that, right, I'll just like miss this. I'll not explain this. That's the reason I'm saying. Consider that as assignment and just do it. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So any, I hope like these things are clear now. Absolute and relative.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Now let's go to like some realistic scenario. Okay. Now this like boxes and everything is fine. I mean like let me just remove this. Now let's like learn few things which you keep on noticing in like most of the websites, and it's like a very easy hack as well where you can utilize it like whenever you're building some website. Okay. Now let's assume I want to build some like website. Okay, so I'll just like say here. Okay, let me like one header here. Okay, in header I might be having uh okay a list. Okay. The list I'll be having like home, about, okay, contact. Right, like this is what I have. Now I'm getting like this, but I want to make this look like a navigation bar. If I want to do that, what I can do is I'll not apply any class since we have like only header here. Header will be like only once. I'll be just like using this header. I'll give like background color as black. Okay, it's completely black. The text is also black. I will say color as yellow, so that text will turn into yellow. This is fine. Now within header I have ul, right? Okay, I'll just like say ul. I'll say list style. List style in the sense I want to remove this dots. Okay, when I gave like list hyphen style as none, that will remove the dots. Okay, see here it's gone. Okay, Now, whatever the li I have here, this is like acting as a block level element, but I don't want this to act as a block level element. I want this to sit like one after another. Okay. For li, right, I'll just say display as inline block. Okay, so that I can able to give the proper padding as well. Okay, now I'll say padding 10 pixels. Great. Okay, so if you see here, now if I hover on this, right, it's just like there's some sort of edit cursor I am getting. I can change that as well, just to make this as a pointer. We have like one more property known as cursor. Cursor should be pointer. Okay, so whenever you hover on this, you'll get like that hand symbol. See here, you'll get like hand symbol. Clear? Now let me give like margin right as something like 2 pixels, 3 pixels. This is what we have done. This is fine. Okay. Now next thing is what I'll do is this is fine. Now here, right, in the header, let me add few things here. So I don't know what exactly I need to write here, but I'll just like keep on writing few things. I'll say h2. Can please everyone mute the mic? There's like a bit of disturbance. Sorry for that. Yep. So let's assume I have written computer science here, and there might be some content with computer science. I'll just like go right. Okay. Yep. We have here, and I got this. And let me add like couple of break tags here. Break tag. Okay. Now let me copy paste this multiple times. Right. Where is that? Okay. If I save this, I'm getting computer science. Okay. Let me do it like few more times so that our page is like really long. You can see here, like I can scroll it down, right? This is fine. So I have this computer science. Let me just change this to information science. Then let me just change this to electronics, and this to electrical. So this is what I have now. Let's see, one thing which usually why I'm doing like all this thing is I want to show you like one thing. One thing is, see, whenever I scroll this, right, whenever I scroll this, just observe this header. Okay, if I scroll this down, what is happening to the header?
It's hiding.
It's hiding upside.
It's just like scrolling up and it's just like hiding, right? Now, most of the websites, what happen is, even if you go to facebook.com, Twitter, whenever you scroll this, whether the header will get hidden.
No, sir.
No, right? I mean, like whatever you're scrolling, this will get fixed here. Now, that can be achieved using like a very, very simple property for that header, right? Here, for that header, you have to give something known as position sticky. Position sticky. Again, whenever you use position, if you unlock 4 more properties, what are those four properties?
Relative absolute.
Relative, absolute,
Smooth, sticky.
sticky, and
Whenever you are using position,
Bottom,
it will
left, right.
unlock 4 properties.
Top,
Exactly. Bottom,
top,
left,
and
Top,
yeah.
bottom, left.
So correct. So this position sticky, right? What it exactly says is, and you're giving it sticky, and if you're giving the position here, right? I mean, like top. If I give like top 0 here, what exactly happens is, even if you scroll, right, that will keep on stuck at the top position. That's the use of sticky. See, this like using this, like learning these two things, you can achieve something like this, right? It's like very easy. Now, yeah, what happens if I give like bottom 0? Let's try it out, right? See, if I give like bottom 0, nothing is happening. See here, nothing is happening. Now, to achieve this, right, this is like your assignment. You have to go and learn about, there are like 2 more properties, which is like not much useful, but if you understand that, you'll be able to do this. See, my question is, see, I have done like top 0 here, and if I scroll this, it's like kind of stick. Now, if I'm trying to do, what I'm doing is I'm doing bottom 0, right? It's disappearing, nothing is happening. But what exactly I need is this, right? This bar should be present here at the bottom. Okay, and whenever I scroll it, this should be here itself. It should not it should not get hidden. Try that out and like figure that out, and with that learn about a position, fixed and static. Okay,
It should
and
be
by
down
default,
down of the page, bottom of the page.
yes, here
Okay.
at the bottom, and it should not get hidden whenever I scroll. Right,
Okay.
just keep that.
Then we can make it as footer and do it, right?
Yes, I don't want to say anything here. That's like assignment. Do that.
Can you
That's it.
please repeat it, sir? I didn't got it.
Yeah, yeah. The question is
There's a
now if you
from the from position stick. I'm not getting
a position.
stick.
Yeah, see, just like observe this header. What is happening if I scroll down like this? What is happening to the header?
It is fixed.
Yeah, that's the use of sticky. If I remove this, right? Now what is happening if I scroll down to the header?
It hides.
Yep. Now my question is, it's getting given top zero to the bottom. Okay, what you have to do is you have to make this header fixed here at the bottom. Okay, even if I scroll down, right, that should be get fixed here itself. Okay, that is the assignment. One assignment. There are like two assignments. One is center the div. The second is this. Okay, write down. Cool. Are you clear with this?
Yes.
Okay. Great then. I mean, like, yeah, it's like 10:50. I'll just like give like 10 minutes. Please practice this. Then we'll continue. Do you want to practice or do you want me to continue? If you want me to continue, I can continue.
You continue, sir.
Continue.
Continue. You don't want to practice it. Okay, it's up to you guys. I'm like, that's fine. Cool. So one second. Sure. We need, yes. So, so we covered this. Okay. We covered this. Okay. And now we covered this as well, right? Now next thing is measuring units. Yeah, this is like kind of really interesting one. Let's check like measuring units. Cool. Let me go.
So you said to study about position fixing and other
Fixed and static.
fixer.
These are three things which I said. Let me just copy paste this. The chat. Oops. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Now let's talk about measuring units. Okay. Great. So let me remove this unnecessary things. Okay. Now the next question is, if I write here, right? For example, let's assume I write like a paragraph here, and I'll say "Hello world." Okay. So when I do this, right? What is the default font size of this paragraph?
16 pixel.
16.
62. 62.
16.
16, sir.
16.
16. 16.
16 pixel. Okay, yeah, that's right. The default font size in a browser, just like a 16 pixel, right? Now we have the ability as a developer, you have that ability where you can override that, right? So how we can do that? Let me just, yeah, this is fine. Let's keep the header. How you can do that? How you can override this? What you can do is we can say paragraph, right? I mean, like, let's say font size as 18 pixels. Right. If I save this, see the font got increased, right? And if I want to increase it more, I can say 28 pixels. Right. So this got increased more. Now the idea behind this pixel is, so whatever you are giving here, that will get appear. Now the problem with pixel is, let's assume, I'll tell you one thing, I'll tell you one scenario. Okay, see how this development works is it, especially on our front end. There will be like a team, there will be like a hierarchy, there will be like a product manager, then there will be like people who do like market research, then will be like a UI designer, then there will be like front end engineers. This is how the hierarchy will be. So first, product in a product manager will lay out the roadmap, what should be the product and how it should, he will collaborate with the, they'll collaborate with the UX designer, then they will design the design one template, I mean like design the UI, how it should look like, then they will give it to the engineer. We have given like some assignments, right? We have given and we have said like it should look like exactly like this. If you remember, we have given like one assignment. That's how we do it, right? Even if you go to any industry, if you're going as a UI engineer or a front-end engineer, that will be your work. They will give you one design and they'll ask you to design it exactly like that. Now in this scenario, right, whenever we follow some agile process, what happens is there you'll be starting to develop and there'll be like a lot of changes happening. Okay, there'll be like iteration, there'll be changes, and let's assume that change is this. For example, now let me create like, okay, this is hello world, this is fine. Add like another paragraph here. Let me give like a class. I'll give like class as a description. Okay, oops, description. I'll give class as heading. Okay, or title of this. Fair enough, right? So here I've given like paragraph here, right? Now font size for this, like, let me just remove this. Let me give like a classes itself. I'll give like dot title. Title should be bold, right? I'll say font weight should be bold. Okay. Now the font size, since title will be big, I will keep as 32 pixels. Okay. I'll save this. I'll save this. Okay. So let's see here. This is 32 pixels, and this description is this. Okay. Now in the description, right, I'll say dot description. I'll say font size. It should be like 16 pixels. Okay. Cool. This is like by default one. There's a reason it's showing this. Now let's assume this. You are building the website, and this is what I have done, like very on a small project. It's like a very small. It's like only one page. That's fine. But what happens tomorrow? You are like building a website which has like almost 15 to 20 pages, right? And designer comes and says like whatever the now in the all those 10 to 20 pages, what you have done is for all the font sizes you have written like 32 pixels. Okay, and for all the descriptions you have given 16 pixels. Now designer comes and says we have like did some sort of review and we have to change the font sizes. Okay, and they come and say like they have to change the font sizes, and they say this, they ask you to make this something like 48. Okay, I know this is like crazy thing, but still this is fine. This was just for understanding. Okay, and they'll ask you to make the description, all the pages description to 32. Okay, so initially what was the thing? Initially the title was 32 and the description was 16 pixels. Now again designer comes you and say like make all the titles to 48 pixels and description to 32 pixels. Okay, everyone is with me, right? I mean like you guys are getting what I'm trying to say here, correct?
Yeah, understanding.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now if you have everything in pixel, right, the problem with pixel is you have to go to all the pages wherever you are using the CSS, and you have to change all those things. Even though you do like efficient search and replace, right, that will again will require like a lot of verification, because you're really not sure like whether you have missed it somewhere or not. Okay, you have to do like a lot of sanity testing, just make sure like you have not missed anywhere. Now these kind of problems, right, that's the reason whenever if you see like an average like a UI engineer, or like even if you go and search like a design libraries, right? If it is like developed by like well-reputed company, they don't use like pixel directly, okay? Because that will again mess up the complete design system itself. What they do is they have like other measuring units such as REM and EM. REM, here I'll just write it. It's like REM and EM. Okay, so most of the time it's advisable to use this REM and EM and don't use pixel. Pixel will, now why we need to use why we have to use this, I'll just show you in a second. Okay, so you have to use like REM EM. Now what is this REM EM? See, whenever we say REM, right, it's like a relative, this is relative multiplier. Okay, so when you say relative multiplier, so when you say REM, what it exactly says is it will see what is the font size, like a root font size. What is the like our default font size?
16.
16, right?
16, sir.
16, then that will get multiplied by multiplier. Okay, so what exactly this means? For example, if I say here as 1 REM, what exactly I'm trying to say is 1 into 16 pixels. Okay, how much, like if I say 1 into 16, how many pixels?
16.
16.
So if I want to make, I mean like if I want to make this in REM, how I can do that?
1 into 32.
What I need to do?
1 into 32.
2
Or
REM.
No, sir. 2
Two
are
are
2
equal.
REM
2
into
REM,
32.
right?
2
I have
REM,
to
sir.
just like do 2 REM. Wow, why 1 into 32? If I do like 2 REM, what exactly I mean here is 2 into what is the root
16.
font size? It's like 16,
Yeah,
right?
2 into 16, 32.
32. Okay, so this is what like now tomorrow if what do you call, now if like designer comes and say you have to change this, what you have to do is we will be defining that root element, right? In the root element, if you change it, it will automatically get changed. Okay, now here what we are considering is just like a default 16 pixels is like a default. That's what we are considering here. Okay, I will show you how we can define the root as well. Okay, now let's try this out. Okay, now here instead of like font is 32 pixels, I'll just like say 2 rem. Okay, let's say 2 rem here, and I'll say what is the default font size? Okay, I have just like I have zoomed here. That's the reason. Wait a second. Yep, this is how it looks like. Okay, now this 32 pixel I can give like 3 rem, right? Yeah, now it's like it's working proper. Correct. It's 3 rem. It's 2 rem. Now even if you want to make this like a bit bigger, you can go with like 2.5 rem. 2.5 rem in the sense again 2.5 into 16. That's how the things work. This is how it will work. Now what is the actual use case here? I mean like here also if someone comes and ask you to change it, you have to change it everywhere, right? Now let me keep it as 1 rem and I'll show you like how we can change it. Okay, okay, so oops, it's like 21 rem here. Like it's like this is 16 pixel, this is also 16 pixel. Okay, you might not be able to see this, but yeah, now what is our root element? Our root element is what here? What is our root element? What is this?
HTML tag. The-
HTML tag is like a root element. Okay, so
yeah.
if you want to define few fonts, what you have to do is you have to define it globally using HTML tag. If you just like say HTML and you are saying like font size should be 10 pixels. Let's assume you are saying like font is 10 pixels. What it exactly means is all the elements which you have inside, that all like this font size will get applied to all the HTML elements. If I save this, right? See, like it's taking 10 pixel and 10 pixel. Now this is a root element. Now if I say 1 rem here, what exactly this means?
16.
16 pixel.
10
One
pixel.
10 pixel, right? Excellent. The 1 rem, this is 10 pixels. What I said is like 1 into whatever the root element we have, whatever the font size we have defined there. Earlier we have
Yeah.
not defined it. That was taking default as 16 pixels. Now I have defined here as 10 pixels. That is like 1 into 10 pixels. Correct. Now if I want this title to 20 pixels, what I need to do?
2 pixel. 2 rem.
2 REM.
2
2
REM.
rem, right? If I say 2 rems here, like it's getting this. Okay. Now here if you say 2 rem, here if I say like 3 rem, Let's see this is big. Now tomorrow, now designer comes and say, boss, whatever the fonts you are using, right, reduce it by 10%. 10% in the sense, how many percent? If 10% of 10 pixels, how many percent? How many pixels?
1 pixel.
1
One
pixel.
pixel, right? If I reduce the 1 pixel, it's like 9 pixels, right? If I just like reduce and save it, automatically get reflected, right? Because we are multiplying based upon this. Got it? This is like one of the advantage of using REMs. You don't have to keep on changing everywhere. If you just like make it 5 pixels, right? All the things will be dependent upon this, right? Whatever I have given, like 2 REM instance, 2 into 5. Correct. This is one of the advantage. You don't have to keep on changing everywhere because all the things are relatively multiplied with the root element. Got it?
Yeah.
If you're not giving this, obviously it means like 16 pixels by default. Okay, just remember that. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Great. Okay, awesome guys. I mean, like, yeah, we have like one more properties like AM. It's like 11 o'clock. Again, I don't want to take more time. That will get you guys will get exhausted. Probably I'll be covering this in next week. Okay. I don't know whether next week Salman will
Okay,
begin or
the
not.
one question which you have given in the assignment, center the div vertically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is
Yeah.
that one? I didn't get.
We had like the brown box and we had like blue box, right? And we did like margin 0 auto and we horizontally centered it. How to center it vertically? That's the question.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Great. And like, what is the assignment? That's like those are like micro assignments. We even have like one assignment. Let me just let me open this. Oh yes, CSS1 design. Not you guys have done this, right? I mean, like already you guys have done this. Yes. Okay, this fine. Let me give you this. Okay, this is like one of the this thing. I mean, like do this. Okay, if you do this right, you have to build something like this. Wherever you will getting this image, background image, everything will be. I will be sharing that, or you'll be having that in the GitHub. You can get it from there. Here in the CSS tool, you'll be having like all the designs, and you have to build something exactly like this. Got it?
Yeah, got it. So where's the image you told in GitHub? Can you
I
show
will
that?
give you that image. Don't worry about that. Okay. We'll just like put it in the group, all the details, whatever you need.
Can
Sure,
you
thank you.
show
Thank
me
you.
where to go for the assignment, sir?
Sorry?
Where to go for the assignment to show this again?
No, we will. I mean, like I will share you this.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Great. I mean, like that's it from my end. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. If you don't have any question, oh wait a second, let me stop the recording. It's done right, I think.
I think you have to mark the attendance also, right?